Massive demonstrations continue for the third consecutive night in Israel's Tel Aviv, with demonstrators clashing with police demanding Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to secure a ceasefire and hostage release deal. And this following the recovery of 6 dead hostages from Gaza. Demonstrators in large numbers took to the streets yet again after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dismissed making any concessions in stalled talks towards a hostage release deal. Many Israelis blame Netanyahu for the mounting number of dead hostages and are calling for a ceasefire agreement to free the remaining hostages. At least 500,000 people took to the streets in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv on Sunday after the discovery of 6 diseased captives in Gaza over the weekend. Well, the WHO authorities reported that the 6 hostages were killed within 48 to 72 hours prior to their recovery. Demonstrations erupted in Tel Aviv, leading to a general strike initiated by the country's largest trade union on Monday. On the other hand, the United States has called for urgency and flexibility to finalize an agreement between Israel and Hamas for a truce in Gaza. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said that the United States will work over the coming few days with mediators Egypt and Qatar to push for a final agreement.
But there are dozens of hostages still remaining in Gaza, still waiting for a deal that will bring them home. It is time to finalize that deal. The people of Israel cannot afford to wait any longer. The Palestinian people, who are also suffering the terrible effects of this war, cannot afford to wait any longer. The world cannot afford to wait any longer.
He also said that the bridging proposal that the U.S. is putting forward and what the Israeli government also has agreed to, it includes the removal of the Israeli Defense Forces from the densely populated areas, including the Philadelphia corridor, which was a point of contention for a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas militants. Meanwhile, Netanyahu's political rival Benny Gantz has criticized his stance on the Philadelphia corridor, saying that Israel does not need to help keep the troops in the southern Gazan border area for security reasons, and should not be used as a reason to prevent a deal to bring back the remaining hostages from the Gaza Strip. He said that Israel's main existential threat is Iran and not the Philadelphia corridor. Now, the issue of the Philadelphia corridor has been a major sticking point in efforts to secure a deal to halt the fighting in Gaza and return some 101 Israeli hostages held by the Hamas militants. Benny Gantz accused Netanyahu of putting his own interests before Israel's.
The Prime Minister did not look the public in the eye and tell the truth, that he won't bring the hostages alive. He won't truly protect the southern corridor of Gaza, that he will not return the residents of the north to their homes, that he won't prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
Furthermore, the United States has announced criminal charges against top leaders of Hamas over their roles in the deadly October 7th attack in Israel. Militant group's chief Yahya Sinwar, along with at least 5 others, have been accused of orchestrating the October 7th attack on Israel, which killed 1,200 people, including more than 40 Americans. The attack triggered an Israeli assault on Gaza that has killed more than 40,000 Palestinians. Out of the 6 accused, Sinwar is believed to be in hiding in Gaza, while Khalid Mishal, who heads the group's diaspora office, is based in Doha, and Ali Baraka, a senior Hamas official, is based in Lebanon. 3 others, Ismail Haniyeh, Mohammad Deif, and Marwan Issa, they all have been killed. The White House said that Hamas has even more American blood on its hands and it will pay for the deaths of 6 hostages. And U.S. President Joe Biden is working around the clock with his team to get a ceasefire deal done.
Make no mistake about it, Hamas leaders are going to pay for these crimes. And he and his team, for sure, will keep working around the clock to get this hostage deal done. And this is a president that has been pretty clear about that. He's spoken about making sure that we get this hostage deal done. He's met with the hostage families.
And well, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report. Take a look.
According to the State Department on Tuesday, the U.S. is urging Israel and Hamas to reach a ceasefire deal to end the nearly 11 months of fighting in Gaza and free remaining hostages. Dozens of hostages are still being held, and Matthew Miller, the State Department spokesperson, says that the U.S. is working with mediators, Egypt and Qatar, to push for a final agreement. A key point of contention seems to be Israel's insistence on maintaining a military presence at the Gaza-Egypt border, which the U.S. opposes. The U.S. is calling for flexibility from both sides to reach this deal, citing the suffering of both Israelis and Palestinians. The plea comes after Israel found 6 hostages executed by Hamas amid pressure on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to agree to a ceasefire. Now, it's important to note that a ceasefire deal is also equally important for the Biden administration, just 60 days to the 2024 presidential election, with Kamala Harris, the vice president by extension, being the Democratic nominee. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.